Chapter 6. Ivar was driving me to someplace safe, or that's what he assured me. I could feel the nagging headache behind my eyes begin to grow more intense. "You okay?" he asked. "Fine." "You believe me now?" Ivar asked. His tone of self-righteousness was not lost on me, but I did not feel compelled to respond as I normally would. I wasn't sure if I was in a state of shock because I was nearly sliced to ribbons by a demon, or just pissed that Ivar was right. "I believe you. Happy? That thing was my demon. But it didn't look like that at the warehouse. Most demons have no definite form. Many of them can make themselves appear any way they wish. A helpful tool when luring mortals, or killing them. Evidently, then it still is draining me. Slowly but surely. The longer it's free, the stronger it becomes, and the stronger it gets, the weaker you will become," Ivar warned. "How weak are we talking? I mean, when I was possessed, I had a little extra power. I'm just going to go back to normal, right? If the demon gets too much stronger, you could die," Ivar said. The phrase, "be careful what you wish for," flashed in my mind. "How long will that take?" "Naturally, it would take years, decades," he began. "You're warning me about something I don't even have to worry about yet, if ever. However, if the demon wants its full power restored at once, it will only have to seek you out and kill you, which I believe has proven to be the case," he said. I turned away and looked out the window. I couldn't tell where we were. Everything was dark and moving too fast to recognize. How do I fix this? It was bad having that bastard inside of me, but I can't live my life running like this. I looked at Ivar. I stared at him, waiting for him to open his mouth and give me an answer, willing him to respond. He sat stiff and distant for a minute. "You must rejoin with the demon in order to preserve your life," he said cautiously. "What? I just cut the thing loose. I gotta suck it back in just to live?" I felt a rush of frustration come over me. The feeling of being a petulant child who had once more been denied his will. I felt Ivar's eyes on me. "Maybe not," Ivar said at last. I jerked up from my seat. "What?" "I happen to know of someone who may be able to help you. It's a long shot, at best." "That's fine. I'll try anything. I just can't go back to that thing. You have no idea what it's been like. The voices, the visions. Trust me, Jake, I appreciate how difficult it has been for you. I will help you," Ivar said in a soothing tone. I took some comfort in his words. I wasn't sure if he was even telling the truth, but something inside me, something that I knew was me and not the demon, urged me to trust. After a few more miles, I fell asleep. When I woke up, the car was parked in front of a crappy-looking little house on a crappy little street. Ivar was missing, but I saw a light on in the dump in front of me. I slipped out of the car and walked up the porch to the front door, which was hanging open. Light poured out from inside. I leaned in slightly, but I heard nothing. "Hello?" I asked, still quiet. I then heard the faint sound of someone writing. I walked in. The living room was sparse. There was a couch and a television, but that was about it. Nothing on the walls and no little decorations. I followed the scribbling sound to the kitchen and back, and I saw Ivar leaning over the kitchen counter. "Hey," I said. He did nothing to indicate to me that he was aware of my presence. I took a step forward and a loud creak shot out from below. Ivar's head tilted slightly toward me. "You're up," he said, and then went back to his project. "What are you doing?" "Where are we?" We're all right here. We're all right here. A friend of mine always allows me to use this as a sort of safe house. I haven't been here in a long time, but everything seems intact." "Okay, doesn't really answer my questions." "It answers enough of them. I need to concentrate." "What are you doing?" I asked as I pushed Ivar aside. I looked down and saw an old worn-out map on the counter with a lot of wild marks all over it. "What is this?" "I'm trying to find the one." "What?" "The person I said I could help you is known only as the One. He is incredibly wise, and if there is any way to free you of the demon, he will know." Okay, so why don't we just go there? I don't know where he is right now. Call information, check the phone book. It's not that easy. The One is an ancient holy being. He never appears in the same place. That map is designed to help me track him when I need his counsel. What I'm doing now is a form of divining. I'm using my mind to track his psychic aura. Or I was, just when I thought you weren't insane. Do you want my help or not? Fine, I'm sorry. Divine away. Just hurry, I said as I adjourned back to the living room. I sat down on the couch and was intent on turning the television on when I noticed the set wasn't set up for a remote. It only had a rotary dial as far as controls went. I slumped back on the sofa and waited. Time dragged on for what seemed like hours. The silence was broken by a sudden noise outside the house. I looked over and saw that Ivar was still intent on his magic map. I got up and peeked outside. It was so dark, I could barely see the front lawn. I heard the noise again. It was like a dull, wet slap coming from everywhere. I walked out onto the porch. I couldn't sense any movement. I stepped off the porch and I could feel the wet grass with every step. It was deep, deeper than I imagined. I walked out to the middle of the lawn and looked around but saw nothing. The night was calm and quiet, not even a slight breeze. As soon as I was satisfied, I turned back to the house, but I noticed my foot felt stuck in the grass. I pulled harder, thinking I had just stepped in a mud puddle or something. I yanked, but whatever was holding me got tighter. I looked down and I could barely notice thousands of blades of grass moving oddly. They were growing and swarming around like tendrils. I gave my leg another good yank and I broke free. I hurried for the house, but just then 1,000 or more tiny blades of grass shot up out of the ground and twisted together into a long whip. It lashed around and wrapped tightly around my leg. As quickly as that, another grass whip launched up and grappled my other leg. Then 2 more caught my arm, and soon I felt an immense pull reaching around my body. I struggled against the force, but the harder I pushed, the harder they pulled. I managed to free my arms and started clawing against the ground to get closer to safety. The other grass blades became stiff and sharp like jagged spikes poking at me. I let out a scream that could have easily woken up the neighbors, had there been any. I felt something wrap tightly around my neck and squeeze. My head began to grow light, and my vision was beginning to blur. I saw a large black blob coming toward me, flailing around wildly just before I passed out. I woke up again on the sofa inside, and I saw Ivar standing over me, sweaty and stained with dirt and grass clippings. I also saw him holding a large sword in his hand. I put the picture together pretty fast. Thanks. We really must get going. The demon is getting closer, Ivar said urgently as he forced me up and ushered me back to the car. He got in and brought the car to life. As he peeled out onto the street, I looked back at the house and then back to Ivar. Where did you get the sword? I always keep a stash of weapons handy. It's just part of the life, he said as he shifted the car and shot forward down the street. We drove for another couple of hours in silence. After having nearly been murdered by a lawn, I didn't feel much like talking. The scenery blurred past me, but I didn't care. I didn't pay much mind to the oncoming traffic signs either. You know where you're going? Yes, Ivar said in his usual cool tone. How do you do it? What? You cut me out of a bloodthirsty grass field, and it's like it was nothing to you. You were possessed by a demon, and now it's hunting you down, and you act like it's nothing. No, I'm definitely acting like it's something. I admit I've had my share of weirdness over the years, but nothing close to all this. Do you deal with this shit on a daily basis? Not daily, but it does have its regularity. You get used to it. I don't think I could. I've just wanted a normal life for so long. That demon cost me so much. It took my parents. It got me bounced from more foster homes than I could count. It has separated me from every important thing in my life until it has become what it is today. Not every path is an easy one. It is unfair, but your family's destiny is... Stop. Don't talk to me about destiny. There is no destiny. You just get a bunch of shit dumped on you from day one and you deal with it. I'm done dealing with this weird shit. I just want some regular shit to deal with. It's a shame. Many of the Corbas over the years have done incredible things. Great things. That was them, not me, I said sharply. Sorry, Ivar said, and then looked down away from me. The vacuum of silence was profound, and I felt an awkward moment approaching. I just opened my mouth and let the first thought that came to mind out. You think he's helping? I said. Ivar looked back at me with interest. Who? Sam, you think he's helping the demon? It's possible. He could be offering the demon more power to find you. Why would he do that? Sam is a twisted, evil man. His only goal is to attain power. I'm sure it wouldn't be a stretch to assume he's made some kind of deal with the demon. Perhaps if he helps destroy you, he will be given some demonic favor. More power. Who knows? I guess, I said, and then slipped back into silent mode for another couple hours.